Welcome to Nice Ashes. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
What are we talking about today, Nate?
Well, joke's on you. This is a cigar podcast, so let's talk about what we're smoking first, and then we'll talk about what we're talking
jeez.
about. Yes. What are we smoking, Mike?
We are smoking a Gurkha Titan.
Damn.
Yep. I'm
right,
hoping that this will be good.
This is our last one, right?
This is our last of the Gurkha series, yeah.
For now.
Our timing was good with the Titanic submarine, so.
Yes. I will gladly smoke this in honor of more billionaires dying.
We can only hope.
All right, and I feel this one's similar in size to the other two, like the Centurion and the other ones that we had. Might be a tiny bit longer, though. I don't know.
Possibly. It's a different shape than the Centurion, but
yeah,
they're all about the same size. They're like a Toro, not a Robusto.
Yep. I am pairing this with Heaven's Door Double Barrel Aged whiskey. It's the Bob Dylan themed whiskey.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds wonderful.
This is my first sip of this one. I've had the regular Heaven's Door whiskey, which is good. This one is a little stronger, but very, very smooth. I don't have any ice or whiskey stones or anything in there, just straight, and it is phenomenal.
Oh, good. I'm pairing mine with lemon water because it is hot here.
Yes, very it is. Hot. It's been hot, but it rained today, and the high today where I'm at was 72. That was delightful. Delightful.
Yeah, it's been raining here for 3 days, but it's still hot.
Just a hot and muggy, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is borderline tropical.
All right, so I've got a story for you. And before I launch into this story, I feel that we should come clean with our listeners and let them know about our Facebook page. If you want to interact with us on Facebook, we're now on Facebook. We have been for a little bit, but we've been working through a backlog of recorded episodes, so we hadn't had a chance to share that with you yet on the actual podcast. But we do have some lively discussions over there. Livelier than my personal Facebook page anyway, so that's a plus. And we check that and get notified on that. So if you want to reach out or give us a like or a follow, share us with your friends or enemies, like we always say, there is that over there.
And there's a post on there more recently than my personal Facebook page, because I don't know when the last time I had a post on mine.
Yes. And more recently than my personal one, too. But now to my story. And when this episode comes out, June will have just wrapped up, and we will be in July. It might even come out the day after, because the 4th of July is on a Tuesday?
Yeah, because the 1st is Saturday, so.
Yep, so this one will come out on the 5th, so we'll be happy late 4th of July. Hopefully you have all your digits from your firework extravaganzas, but my story takes place in June. And our topic today takes place in June. And Excellent. Everybody knows June is Men's Health Month.
Okay.
So my wife and I went, and we went to a concert in some unnamed town with some unnamed musician playing. And we met some of this unnamed musician's cohorts or friends, as it were, at this establishment. And my wife and I were sitting outside. We had just had a baby. So I think we mentioned that on the podcast before, that we were expecting a baby boy. And he came, and he's here, and he's nowhere near the cigar smoke, for those of you that are concerned. But he's doing very well. So my wife was talking to these friends of a friend, let's say. And one of them had purple hair and was asking if we were planning to have more. And she was talking to Sarah and not really to me. I was on the other side of the table. And she said, "Oh, are you planning on having more?" And my wife said, "Nope, we're done having the kids. We have a girl and a boy, so we've got one of each." And the first thing out of Purple Hair's mouth was, "You weren't going to try for a non-binary?"
Really? I was not expecting that.
No, it's a twist. I lured you in, and
yeah, I was expecting something like that, but it was the well, how do you know what they are until they tell you?
Yeah. So now I looked it up. Since then, 1.6% of the American population identifies as non-binary. 1.6. Can you imagine how many times you would have to try to get a non-binary child to legitimately get one?
That stat seems higher than it should be. You see what I'm saying? Like it's 1.6, but I'm saying it's probably more like
I see what you're saying.
0.016.
Well, so the first stat that popped up was 5%. But then I read on that what the stat was actually referring to, and it was trans and non-binary. So they were lumping trans in. So you lump all those two categories together, it's 5%. Non-binary, 1.6%. That might be over or underreported. I don't know. I didn't. It wasn't. I didn't have the time to want to go and dig into it further. I just knew it was a small percentage.
Yes.
So I think it's you have a better chance. You have a way better chance of being non-binary than you do of making money in an MLM.
Probably.
Yes. So then the next thing she said, this woman or whatever they might identify as, said that they had a friend who was raising their child gender neutral. And she said, nobody knows what this kid's gender is. And I piped in and said, people know. And she's like, no. And I said, I assure you, people know the gender of that child. And she kind of looked at me and I said, well, okay. I had met previously, I've met one gender neutral child who was friends with my brother. The parents were. And so I went and saw them. And then I asked my brother afterwards, I'm like, oh, how old is their son? And my brother goes, well, how do you know it's a son? Did they tell you? And I'm like, no, it looks like a man. Like it looks like like a male child, And he goes, well, they're raising it gender neutral, and nobody's supposed to know. But you're right, it is a boy baby. And I was like, yeah, like I mean, I guess there are some like androgynous people, but the hormones are just different.
Mm-hmm. At a certain point, you can tell, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, like, having small babies of your own helps you identify them as well. So, going in with more Men's Health Month, I thought another story might be forthcoming for you, Mike.
Oh, okay.
So, I went to the Pride Festival yesterday down here in Minneapolis at Loring Park. And I was going to, I was conscripted or asked to take photos. I don't know if conscripted is the right word. Like I voluntarily did it to take photos of a mutual friend of ours who's a musician. So I went to go take some photos of them performing at the Pride Festival on a stage. And as I was trying to find this stage, there was a beer garden, a beer tent, right? And you probably know what this material is. It's kind of like, what do they it's not like burlap, but it's the weave is
Canvas?
very very coarse. It's not like canvas, but it's like plastic, and you can like print on it and things, right?
Sure. Yeah, yeah. It's like a plastic burlap. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and
They make signs out of it. The material you're talking about.
yeah, yep, yeah, and so they put it on the chain link fence, and they had printed on it all these signs, or like things printed on it. And I was walking by, and they were all pride flags, and I was like, oh, okay. Then they also had what each pride flag was, and so there was stuff for just regular things, and then there was like twink and lipstick lesbian and everything else, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of oddly specific flags, right?
Did they have the WP flag on there?
I'm
It's a
I'm not
pride
sure.
in a color that starts with the letter W.
Okay. No, I don't think they had that one.
Well, I'm saying they had all these pride flags on there.
Yes, yes. So I thought for our episode tonight, in honor of Men's Health Month, we can go, and I found a list of the 36 queer pride flags you should know. And this was published June 1st of 2023 on advocate.com. And I'll link the article so that you listeners, if you want to see all the pretty colors, we can go through and go through that. So I thought it'd be fun to go through because I had no idea what a lipstick lesbian was until I looked it up.
Should
So,
I look this up on my laptop?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Why don't I'll just forward you the link here.
Oh,
It's
sure.
like if Mike and I ever planned anything, he would already have this. We'd both be looking at it, and we'd both say, "Hey, that's great." But I figured we'd just start at the top, the first one, and this I'm just kind of giving Mike some time to pull the link up. That's sent to you now, Mike. The first one on this list is the Gilbert Baker Pride flag, which is probably the flag you're most familiar with if you're not deeply into the, I guess they call it the queer culture. So I guess I can say that. Um, I thought at one point queer was kind of like a no-no to say. Is that accurate or inaccurate, Mike?
It is for straight people. It's kind of
Okay.
like other words that certain groups are in groups are allowed to say and out groups are not.
Okay. Well, this is from an article, so I feel like I can say it in the context of what we're talking about here in this episode. Um, and we're trying to raise awareness for these different subgroups within this community. But the first one
Yes,
here, and I'll just read. So if you scroll down to the first flag there, Mike, just let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
All right. So
I
this one
am ready.
is Harvey Milk challenged Gilbert Baker in 1977. Gilbert Baker was a veteran who taught himself how to sew to come up with a symbol of pride for the gay community. And Harvey Milk, there's a, I think is it a Sean Penn movie? There's a movie about Harvey Milk out there.
Yes.
But beside the point, I think there's more to that whole story than this one flag. But the original Pride flag was inspired by Judy Garland's Over the Rainbow. And this flag was flown on the San Francisco Gay Freedom Day Parade celebration, June 25th, 1978. There's a little dispute, I guess, that we should mention on whether or not Baker was the sole creator or not. But it actually lists out what all the colors mean. So it starts with hot pink for sex, red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, turquoise for magic and art, indigo for serenity, and violet for spirit. So the only thing is this, like sex sounds like that, but what have you. So that was the original one, 1977. Then I guess poor Harvey, if we scroll down to the next flag, Mike, met his
Yep.
end at the end of an assassination attempt that was successful, and they wanted to change the flag. So they did, and they kind of dropped the hot pink because they had trouble getting the hot pink fabric. But I don't think the rest of these go down through all the colors. So basically, it's very similar to the flag up above, except there's a lighter purple instead of the hot pink.
Yes.
All right. So is everybody still with us? I know it's kind of hard to do like a visual flag thing on a podcast, but we're going to be getting into, now that we've covered the two main ones, we're going to be getting into more of the subgroups and things. I guess there's two more kind of like generic-ish ones. Um,
Yeah, the next one is the one that everybody thinks of as the gay pride flag. Because it's the one that was popular forever and it has fewer colors. It only has 6 colors. So it seems like there's a lot of economics pushing the number of colors down.
yeah, if you sorry about that. I took a big old swig of Dylan whiskey, and it went right to the old back of the throat. Yeah, if any of you have done any kind of graphic design or wanted to get a T-shirt printed, you know that 3 colors is pretty much kind of like the standard. And then if you want more than 3 colors, you get charged quite a bit for additional color beyond that.
Yes.
The next flag down is well, they're including more people. They're being more inclusive. So the next flag down is the Philadelphia People of Color Inclusive Flag. So it says here that they made this flag because queer people of color are often not fully included in the LGBT community. So the city of Philadelphia specifically added 2 colors, black and brown, the pride flag in their honor. The city had previously faced accusations of racial discrimination in its gay bars. So I feel like this is probably a response to backlash, social media backlash, or social. I don't know what it doesn't. It doesn't say when this flag came into existence, but
No, it doesn't have the date at all.
yeah, all I know is as somebody who sometimes dabbles in graphic design and the things, I'm not hugely thrilled about the black and brown with the rest of the rainbow color, but to each their own. Um,
Well, anytime that there's a controversy, instead of addressing whatever the underlying issue is, you just kind of slap some paint on it and continue rocking and rolling. So
Yeah.
it's the American way.
Yes. So this next flag, then, I don't know if you want to take this one, Mike. This next one.
Oh, the Progress Pride flag.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, guys. This is like a traditional gay pride flag on the right, and then it's got
Yes.
white, pink, light blue, brown, and black on the left, coming in as like a arrowhead.
An arrow or like a square tilted at a 90 or 45-degree angle or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So like we're really trying to, understand all these different flags and the different like subgroups that they represent. Some of the graphic design though is
and this one's supposed to have all the transgendered colors and black and brown people and people with AIDS, and it's the same thing that's been happening with this community in general, where it's like they can't just have a group. It has to, every individual subgroup has to be named in the flag, and there's a lot going on. It is hilarious. Oh my God, the next one's even better.
Okay, but was there anything we needed to mention about this one? Just that they're adding in the more transgender.
Oh, a guy named Daniel Kawazar, identified as queer and non-binary, designed the flag.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right. So now this next one. And so some of these words, I think we're going to have to look up some of these things because I honestly don't know what this means. And maybe you do, Mike, because you're a lot more progressive than I am. But this next one here, I'll take this one. If you thought the last one's graphic design was bad, just hold on. Just wait.
This one's great. Wait. No, I saw it.
This one is the Intersex Inclusive Progress Pride flag, which is a tongue twister in and of itself, just to say. But this one was designed in 2021 by Valentino Vecchetti of Intersex Equality Rights UK to include the intersex community represented by the yellow triangle enclosing the purple circle. It's one of the most up-to-date LGBTQ plus flags available today. I don't know what intersex is.
Intersex is kind of like non-binary, or it's like non-binary, but I think that the intersex people move between sexualities and genders. If I'm up to date with my understanding, which I'm probably not.
Okay, so here it says, and this is according to PlannedParenthood.org, intersex is an umbrella term that describes bodies that fall outside the strict male, female binary. So there's lots of ways someone can be intersex. It's a general term. So I feel like we're kind of, with these flags and subgroups, we're kind of like, we're starting all inclusive, right? Like the whole subset of the queer community. And then we're kind of working our way down and down. So that's good to know that intersex probably encompasses a fair number of terms that are more commonly used. I would say.
Sure. And see, now this LGBTQ plus is not the term that I've heard is the common one now. It's LGBTQ plus 2IA, or no, 2SIA. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I think this stuff is
also good to know.
Yes, I think a lot of this stuff is it's going over the top, and because it's so over the top, it becomes very funny. They took something that was pretty serious, and now they've made it silly by going by jumping the shark, so to speak.
Yes. But we're still going to go through, because as ridiculous as some of these flags may be, I was curious, having seen that printout on the chain link fence with all the different flags, and I thought, hey, it'd be fun to kind of go through this with Mike on our show, Smoking a Stogie, and at least learn a little bit about the communities that they're representing, despite the fact the flags look like they were designed by maybe a kindergartner with a full box of crayon colors.
Well, other than the 6-colored flag, I'd never seen any of these. So I guess we're all getting my initial genuine reaction.
Yes. And one of the pride flags we're not going to talk about on this episode is the I'm proud to suck cop dick flag, also known as the thin blue line flag. We're not talking about
the fascist of America flag.
Yeah, the fascist appreciator flag.
I
Um,
also like the conservative pride flag. I think I showed you that one, didn't I?
I'm not sure.
It's like the fascist flag, except it has or yellow and green and red and blue and all these other pride colors. And it's supposed to
Okay.
be like cops and first responders and firemen and like
Oh,
Coast
got it.
Guard and Army and
All the what are they called? The service.
yeah, all the service blah 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 stuff.
Yeah,
You know, all
yeah.
the I'm a fascist piece of shit colors.
Yes. So this next one, and I don't know, like, is this the article says 36 queer pride flags you should know. Now we're on to this one called the queer pride flag, and it's designed.
Yes.
It's not even designed by a name. It's a username from DeviantArt, the website DeviantArt, where you can upload. You can create your own digital drawings and things and put them up there. But apparently, this user, Pastel Memer, designed this in 2015 and added some pink and blue shades to represent same gender attraction, while orange and green stripes stand for non binary and gender non conforming. And the black and white stripes symbolize asexual, aromantic, and agender. And I feel like we'll get into. I don't, should we look up some of those terms? Do we need to know some of these terms?
Which terms?
Well, like, okay, so I guess like my question is, how is same? What is it? What did it say? Same gender attraction. How is that different than just being gay?
It's not. It's both gays and lesbians.
Oh,
You
I
see.
see. Okay, I
Yeah,
got
this
it.
part of that softening of language nonsense that we've been doing.
Okay. And that's fine. I don't. It doesn't. I don't guess I don't care if they want to be same gender attraction versus a gay man or a lesbian female. That doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. I think it's weak sauce because, I don't know.
Well, I think
It's
we're
just
going to see
softening a
both.
language.
We're going to see both sides, Mike. We're not. It's not going to be full on softening. Some of it's going to be hard.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of hard, this reminds me. A little pride aside. At the Pride Festival, I had gone maybe 6 years ago, and it was a very different, kind of a different vibe. It felt a little more like, I'd say maybe like Woodstock, and less like an actual thing. I mean, not that it wasn't a thing, but when I was there 6 years ago, there wasn't really a whole lot of booths and things, and it was just a whole bunch of
Partying.
queer people and their advocates or their supporters. And there was a lot of topless women with the pasties on and, scantily clad everybody and some music and just kind of like more like party vibes. And this year there were a ton of booths, like the 10 by 10 tents and things and tables and whatnot. And I was surprised how many churches had booths there,
Hmm.
and they were all handing out stickers. And so one had the a rainbow and said, "God is proud of you." They're handing out these stickers. And another booth, which I should have stopped and talked, but it was very warm, and I had to find the appropriate stage for the pictures. But one was the booth was called "Not All Christians Are Assholes."
Huh.
So I feel like that would have been a very interesting conversation. But I thought it was interesting to see all of these churches that were willing and wanting to reach out to the the queer community. And I know that down here in the cities, there are a lot of churches that will put up rainbows on their LCD displays and say like all are welcome and whatever. So there are definitely some much more progressive churches down here than elsewhere in the state and elsewhere in the country, probably.
Well, they kind of have to be. Most of them are losing membership, so they have to find a way to increase their revenue or go bankrupt.
Yeah. And then right beyond the church booths, there's a booth that had a slew of dildos on a board, and people were throwing rings to try and get the rings over the dildos. So it was really kind of the duality of man.
Right. That's more of like the gay pride festival type of thing that I
Yeah.
imagine, you know?
That you pictured, yeah. But I
Yeah.
will say there were far less topless people. Kind of the trend this year, from my take on walking the red carpet at Pride Fest, as it were, I guess, was there's a lot less like just general, lot less nudity or implied nudity, and the women that were wearing pasties on their nipples were wearing kind of like a vest or a jean jacket or something that covered, but it was all unbuttoned, and they didn't have any shirt underneath. So it felt a little more refined or reserved than 6 years ago.
Would
So
you
it was
say
kind of nice to
corporatized?
see. maybe corporatized. Maybe it just grew up a bit. All of these people, and now that gay marriage has been legal, or same-sex marriage has been legalized, I feel that maybe they feel a little more comfortable and they don't feel the need to be as outspoken or outgoing.
Sure.
Or maybe corporatized too. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's, everyone's more comfortable and they realize they don't have to do as much to get support as they maybe had to in the past. So, but the whole point of this aside was there was one guy who was wearing nothing but a cock sock that kind of like wrapped around, and I think it was like a cock sock thong thing. But it was like fully like hanging and flopping. It was like a rainbow flopping thing, and I was like, man, you could put that away anytime.
Was this guy like a twink, or was he a bear, or what was his orientation?
Mike, as fascinated as you are by that, I did not stop him to ask him.
You can tell by looking, Nate. You can tell by looking.
I saw the bouncy bounce, and I said, no, I'm just going to keep on going.
Oh boy.
All right. So let's do this next one. You do this next one. This one looks like it's right up your alley.
Okay. Well, I will scroll down. Yeah. This is the Queer People of Color Pride flag. And it is the gay pride flag, but with the Black Power fist on top. And that is awesome. It was first flown in San Francisco Pride in 19, but became widely popular during the Black Lives Matter protests of 20. Flag symbolizes the intersection between fights for racial and queer equality. So that is awesome.
There
that is
you have it.
So lazy. That looks like a middle schooler did that as a 15-minute project in computer class.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because and I guess maybe, oh, okay, I get it. So it's overlaid of just the standard, 6-color pride flag. Yep. And the fist has colors in it. And at first I thought there was muted colors of the color behind it because all the lines line up. But it is actually going from like very, very dark skin to very, very white skin in gradients up. But I was like, well, it's weird that they chose like kind of a tan or like a white to be what was showing through from the red stripe. So it's very confusing visually, I will say.
This is like they took the pride flag and then they put the Black Power fist over the top, and then in MS Paint they just color dropped the different colors inside.
Yes.
Yeah, I could do this in 15 minutes. I guarantee it.
Yep. So I'm down to the Titan wrapper.
I've taken my wrapper off. I have maybe 3 inches left
of the cigar.
Yeah. Am I that far ahead of you?
No, I've got 3.5.
Okay.
I just measured. Anytime I'm so bad at estimating distances and what orientation people are wearing cock socks.
So what do you think of the cigar so far?
I quite like it. I feel like, and I don't know, I feel like it's changed a little bit here at the center, at the middle.
It has.
In flavor, which the other ones didn't do drastically. And this one wasn't drastic either.
No, it's not drastic. And I was smoking a little fast and I got some sour and I slowed it down and it's not sour anymore. It's actually nice. Like a nice medium, but still got some sharpness to it.
Yep.
So it's nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was looking at the side scroll bar. We're like a quarter of the way through these flags. Maybe we'll pick it up a little bit, the pace here, and we'll only stop if we need something. We need to clarify something. Does that sound okay with you?
Sounds good to me.
Because we may want to touch on some other things that have happened since we last recorded at the end, but we'll
Absolutely.
See. So the next flag is the bisexual flag. Actually, one of the better looking flags that we've seen thus far, I think.
It's more traditional.
I mean, it's not. We're not saying like. Not saying it's great and going to win, flag contests, but with the other ones we've seen. So that was the bisexual one. It's got 2 big bars and a little bar in the middle. Now, Mike, you take the next one, and I'm going to look this up because this next one I'm not familiar. I mean, like I'm familiar with the term, but I've heard it explained, but I always forget.
The pansexual flag. It's created on the internet, of course. It's got pink, yellow, and light blue, and it's a 3-bar flag. And it represents pansexuality's interest in all genders as partners.
Okay, so that's pansexual is attraction.
They want to
people
fuck
of
everybody.
all genders, not just male and female. So right, you could be like bisexual.
It represents women, non-binary, gender non-conforming, and men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you were bisexual, it would be men and women. But you would not then do anything with the non-binary people and the other groups. Whereas pansexuality, everybody is sexy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we got the next one is the asexual flag, which is not a well-designed flag at all. But therefore, the asexual people, it represents many ace identities, including gray sexuals, the fluid area between sexuals and asexuals, the demisexuals, the people who don't experience sexual attraction unless they have an emotional connection with their partners. Next flag.
The Labras lesbian pride flag. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is like the Viking Norwegian.
Yeah. Yes. I can imagine this flag being flown on the back of a motorcycle by a guy who has no hair on his head.
Yeah, or like a long ship or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. So it's a purple flag with a black triangle
in the middle
and a white axe in the middle. Yeah, no, this is great. You could have this in like a video game. This is a good flag. I like this one.
This is a great flag, and it's the Labras. I think is the style of axe that was used by the Grecian Amazons. But it's a lesbian flag. So, but it hasn't gained much traction in the lesbian community. I don't know why. This would be my go-to.
I think it's because it was created in 1999 by a gay graphic designer called Sean Campbell. And I don't think that the lesbians appreciate that.
Well, let's be more inclusive, everyone. This flag is awesome.
Yep. No, that is... I want a patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, the polyamory flag.
Okay. Yep, the polyamory flag. So it's got the symbol for the infinite number pi. Oh, infinite number pi. I thought it was like a number pi because it's they forgot a space between number and pi on the website here. But
yes.
So it shares the first letter of polyamory. So this isn't a math flag, despite them using a math symbol. It celebrates the infinite selection of partners available to polyamorous people.
Yeah, but pi is 3.14. It's not infinite. Why didn't they just put infinity symbol on it?
Well, I mean, pi is infinite and it never repeats itself, right?
Yeah, but it's 3.14.
We abbreviate it to 3.14. Pi has more digits than that.
I'm aware, but why didn't they just use the infinity symbol?
Dude, are you polyamorous?
No, I am not.
Let's not judge. Just because we don't understand.
This is not as cool as the Labras lesbian pride flag, man. That is, I'm saving that.
Shoe in for the winner of the pride flag contest.
I'm saving that to photos, everybody. That is incredible.
It will be Mike's desktop background. Every time we podcast, to look at that. Okay, now this next one, we should have known. We should have seen this coming because part of this next flag was featured on one of the other flags earlier up top.
Yes, it was.
What flag is this, Mike?
This is the intersex flag. It is yellow with a purple circle with yellow on the inside. And apparently it was designed in 13 in Australia. So,
and so intersex, we said, is just is an umbrella term for all non-gendered, non-binary people.
Yes.
The next one is transgender flag. Monica Helms, a trans woman, designed this flag in 1999. You've got light blue, the traditional color for baby boys, pink for girls, and white is in the middle for those who are transitioning. So transgender is still part of the binary sex culture, gender culture.
Something like that. Gender fluid, gender flexible flag.
Yeah, and if we get some of these terms wrong, it's not intentional.
No, we're not trying to make fun of anybody.
It's a lot to except some of the graphic designers. But outside
Oh,
of that,
the
we're not trying to make
designs
fun of
are
the
ridiculous.
communities. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no. The designs are ridiculous. First of all, for those who are not looking at these, they're all copying the gay pride flag, right?
Mostly. I mean, except for the
Yeah, they're
axe one, because
just
that one's badass.
no. The axe one's like that one's unique. Like I say, that could be man. I want to get that flag and fly it on the back of my pickup truck.
You should. You should.
I saw one of those losers this weekend. First time in a long time I've seen that. So
Oh, what flag did they
anyway,
have on the back?
oh, they had an American flag. Thank God, it wasn't like a Trump flag
yeah,
or
okay. Or the
something
cop
goofy.
flag.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I even saw one guy. He had a flying on his back of his truck, but it was so heavy that he had to bolt wires into this bed of his
Oh
pickup
God.
to hold it up. It was like an old, POS
Yeah.
vehicle, obviously. But
I know usually
anyway.
the queer community gets like a lot of flack for being like extra,
Mhm.
like with their stuff. But I tell you, the length some of these Trump people and like rah rah America and cop supporter people will go to, that's like more extra than a lot of the queer community. So
It's absurd. I know I told you the story about the lady in her blazer. So yeah,
yeah.
it's
Let's do this gender fluid flexible flag.
sure. And this is another knockoff gay pride flag. It's just got different colors. And it encompasses the fluctuations and flexibility of gender and gender fluid people.
So yeah, so gender fluid. Then they kind of depends on the day or the feelings. Not to be
Yes.
not to be dismissive of it. Just to quickly summarize, as we still have quite a few flags to go and not a lot of cigars left. The next one is gender queer. The gender queer flag highlights androgyny with lavender, agender with white, and non-binary with green. So this is probably more so the people that maybe don't transition between different genders, but they don't feel any close association with any particular gender.
Lipstick lesbian flag.
Yeah, that's the one that triggered this whole thing. Because I saw this one there, and I was like, "What?"
That is like a Rocky Horror Picture Show flag.
You know what? And this flag is not bad. This is
No,
probably runner
it's
up for
not.
number 2. This is probably runner up for number 2.
Yeah. No, this could be out of a movie or something. It's pretty good to design.
What is it, Mike?
If you want the most feminine pride flag, here it is. It's not widely used. It celebrates the femmes who are lesbians, also called lipstick lesbians.
Yes. And so I had no idea what a lipstick lesbian was, and I know
really
back in the era when I was growing up, it didn't matter if it was a lesbian couple or a gay couple, any same sex couple. The question was always, well, who's the man in the relationship? Who's the pitcher and who's the catcher? Yada yada, all that stuff. So this flag is then specifically designed for the lesbians who are the feminine lesbians and not the more masculine. Not that any of the lesbians has to be masculine. This is
right. This is all shades of pinks and reds and stuff like that. It's a very nice flag. Oh, and it's got the lesbian flag. Interesting.
Yep, the lesbian flag, which looks not as good.
No, nowhere is good.
I don't think we need to go on that. So apparently there's a narrative about this lesbian flag, that this flag is more inclusive of butch and trans lesbians, but apparently there's a debate. So not only can you make really terribly looking flags, but then people get upset if a certain color is not on there. So we don't have to get into that. This next one is interesting because it really kind of harkens to the Blue Lives Matter flag. This is the leather, latex, and BDSM flag. So this is for the kink community. I guess there's a debate on whether kink communities should be added to the LGBT communities.
I don't know about that.
No, but
I don't know about that.
Whatever. It's got a big heart where the stars and stripes would normally be if this were an American flag, but it's mostly blue and black. It looks kind of gross.
Bear Brotherhood flag. Oh yes.
Okay, Mike's excited. He likes bears.
I think it's awesome. It's so funny. So it's a brown and yellow and orange and gray and black gay pride flag with a paw on it. And I thought it was going to be for something else, a bear paw. And then it's basically just supposed to be, for bears, I guess. It was designed in 1995.
Which are what the like heavier set, hairier gay men, right?
They don't have to be heavier set, but they're usually the masculine, hairy guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take this next one. It looks like it came from the Flash comic or something. It's the rubber pride flag. So this is another fetish one, similar to the leather and BDSM one. It's for members who have a rubber and latex fetish.
Yeah, I don't know if that fits.
I don't think
The
it
next
fits.
one, yeah, I don't
Go
know.
on, Mike.
I kind of like this next flag. It's hot pink
Yeah,
and then very bright, like grass green, and then sky blue, and it's the polysexual flag.
and it's only three colors, so I think it's a pretty good design.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great design as far as that goes. And it's unlike pansexuality, polysexuality is attraction to multiple genders, but not all.
Yep.
So I don't know how that's different than bisexuality, but it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I guess it just says, even though it has masculine, feminine, and then no gender, or like other gender, you could be man, woman, and you could fall in love with a gender fluid, but not a gender flex. So it's kind of like,
this is getting very complicated.
I know.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
not
very
saying it's
complicated.
not. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it as well. The next one is agender. Well, gender queer people bend the rules of gender. Agender reject gender completely. So they've got black and white stripes for absence of gender, and then green, which is the inverse of the gender heavy purple, represents non-binary genders. Easy said.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a beach towel. Like you would probably bring this to the beach.
Yeah, looks like a shitty beach towel, to be honest with you, but whatever.
Yeah, you'd get it at the Walmart bin for $8 or something.
Yeah, this is what you'd get in an emergency if you forgot a beach towel and you were in
at the
South
Dollar
Padre.
General. You'd go in, and this would be the thing you got.
Exactly. So, a romantic flag. This one's marginally better than the last one, but not by much. It's got some green on top and black on the bottom.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And whatever.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, aromantic, the description here they put was the aromantic flags use green to celebrate people who live without romantic attraction. So the way they word it sounds kind of depressing. And maybe it is depressing. I don't know. But I guess aromantic is you don't get romantically attracted to people.
I guess so.
All right, the next one is non-binary. We know what non-binary is. We talked about that earlier. This one would kind of have a place here in Minnesota because it's purple and yellow and Viking colors for the NFL team.
I thought the same thing. It looks like a Vikings flag.
And okay, this next one. You take this next one. This is. I don't think this one should fit in here, but
the pony flag. This is way too much. It's got some horseshoes in the green in the middle, and there's black and blue stripes like the cop flag.
Yep. So this is for people. It's a fetish where people are treated like horses by wearing hooves, ears, and saddles and pulling carts. Again, I feel like this is kind of like the rubber and the leather like kinks. Like I don't know that this is really.
This is
I mean, there's not a flag for missionary sex.
This is I don't think this is unlike the others. Even the BDSM flag is a little different than pony flag.
Yeah, I would say at least this one isn't like a direct ripoff of the just the standard pride flag, right?
That is true.
They went a little different with it. It looks like a collegiate football team flag is what it looks like.
Yeah. It could just be a small collegiate football team flag, and we would never know.
Yeah. This is the one that this next one is the one Mike and I fly all the time.
Straight ally
flag. So it's the flag equivalent of I support LGBT people, but no homo. I don't know that's. I don't know. Anyway,
that doesn't seem very nice.
Yeah, I know. This one makes everyone feel included at pride marches, but no homo. Even if they're celebrating other people's sexualities, but no homo. It's a weird. I don't know why they put that in there, the no homo thing.
Yeah, they're not recruiting.
Okay, so here's the inverse. This next one is the inverse of the lipstick lesbian. You take this one, Mike.
Oh, the butch lesbian flag. And this one's kind of lame. It's just blues and purples and some grays. And it's created in 16, because everybody's got their own flag. And it's very similar to the lipstick lesbian flag, but not as clever, I don't think. So there we go.
Yes.
Oh, two-spirit flag.
This next one, we might have a bit of to unpack here. The two-spirit flag. So the two feathers, it's the basic pride flag. And then they put some feathers on there from the native tribes. as you'd think. So the feathers represent masculine and feminine, and the circle is the combination of both into one. And it says, before Europeans colonized indigenous lands in North America and enforced a gender binary, many Native American tribes recognize a third gender, which is today called Two-Spirit. So I guess I don't know if that's historically accurate or not. It wouldn't surprise me.
It seems it's more complicated than that because like the Pueblo Indians had 7 recognized genders, and
Okay.
we don't really know a whole lot about a lot of the tribes because they were destroyed before their society started writing down their cultural heritage. You know what I mean? So we know
Yeah.
about like the Pueblos and the Navajos because they had a written language before European colonization, and they
Yep.
saved a lot of their culture. So we know that at least there they recognized more than 2 genders.
Okay, and I do know, kind of going back to the European colonizers and things and written language, is that we know quite a bit about some of the northern and eastern tribes because the French missionaries and the French people would go and actually kind of like study these tribes and kind of write down what they learned and then sent that back to their king. Because the people back in Europe were very interested, especially the king, because some of these chiefs were just kind of described as kingly or being kings, even though they really weren't in terms of like practice and everything. But
They also weren't
from
writing about their gender politics.
no, they weren't writing. So we have an imperfect snapshot of some of these tribes, and we have very little snapshots of some of these other tribes. But I think what we do have, and this will be a topic for a different episode, but I think what we do have shows that they were maybe a lot more progressive than anyone was led to believe or gave them credit for,
they were
and not
probably a
just
lot
in
more
not
progressive than the Europeans, at least.
yeah, and not just in gender things. I mean, like how they governed themselves and things like that. But
Right.
that's neither here nor there. So this next one is the twink flag, and so it's got the 2 Mars signs intertwined, representing gay men, and it's got a pink on top, a yellow on bottom, and a white in the middle. The term refer the term refer Jesus. I'm gonna get this. The term refers to slim, young, handsome, hairless men.
Yes.
So that's that. It's the basically the opposite of the bear.
There we go. Yes, it is. And
All
that
right.
flag's
Do you?
actually a fairly good design. It's not bad. It reminds me of
Yeah, it's
Easter.
not. Yeah, yeah. That's when all the twinks come out and leave eggs in the yard.
Hell yeah. The demi-girl flag. I don't know what that means.
Okay, let's look it up.
Yeah, the demi-girl flag is a symbol for those who identify as either demi-girl or as a demigirl, or demi-gender or as a demigirl.
Demi-gender.
Demi-girls are
Okay.
those who identify partially as women. Okay. The flag was
Okay.
created by Tumblr user Trans Rants in 15.
Perfect.
So this is another variation of the gay pride flag. And then we have Demi
Yep.
Boy,
Yep.
which
Which
is,
is the exact same except pink. It's blue, of course.
yeah, of course. And it
All right.
was the same person, same time. Ooh, the Natroy flag. This is people who are, represents those who identify as gender neutral. Okay. Uh, yeah, there's some politics with gender neutral and agender. This one's white, green, and black. That easily could be a country flag.
Yeah. All right. The next one is by gender. I think it's by gender. They didn't hyphenate it. It could be big ender. I don't know. The bi gender, the bi gender pride flag represents those who identify as 2 genders, whether male and female, or some combination of non-binary genders.
Interesting.
Okay. And that's just another smorgasbord of colors in the same pride configuration that we're used to. The trans inclusive gay men's pride flag is another variant on the traditional pride flag, except they added a lot more bars or lines in there. So gay men that want to also be inclusive of non cisgender gay men.
Yes,
And I think that wraps up our flags. So
that
we'll
is it.
put this link in the episode description, like we said earlier, so you can go through and look at that, or if you're curious or interested. I don't know how many of these flags are actually used in practice. Like, I mean, some of them sound good in theory, but I don't know because I haven't seen a lot of these.
Either have I. I've only ever seen. I might have seen the Two Spirit flag, Maybe. I can't remember. But the only one I know for a fact is like the just traditional gay pride flag, for sure.
Yeah. So one last story from Pride Fest that I wanted to share, and this is one of the things that kind of kicked a lot of this off was one of the best shirts that I saw there. As you know, you go and people wear graphic tees and it's like end homophobia and everyone's welcome and different things like that. There's one guy and he was wearing this shirt and it said in real big letters, "I like my whiskey straight, but my friends can come as they are."
Nice. That's a very cute shirt.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, no,
That
is good.
That's partly why I broke out the whiskey for this episode.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had no idea there were that many different kind of like subgroups or subcategories.
No, and most of them are very recent flag designs. There for 20 years,
a
there
lot
was
of
just
them are like,
only the gay pride flag, you know?
yeah, because like the first one was like in the late 70s, and then a lot of the other ones were kind of like 90s, late 90s, and then kind of all these other ones with more trans and inclusivity or whatever were 2015 and newer.
Right. Yeah, yeah. They get more and more and more specific as time goes on, obviously. So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Which is interesting because generally when you have a cause and you're trying to rally support for the cause, you want the most inclusive thing to rally everybody together under, right? Whether it's like an idea or banner or whatever, because if you get too fragmented out there, then there's, like fighting between groups and it's a less clear message.
Right. Well, we just have to consider that early on, everybody had all the non heterosexual people had to get underneath one flag to get their rights. And then as the Supreme Court made decisions and allowed protections for homosexuals and allowed protections for transgender people, the less they had to fight for and the more they started to splinter off, and I'm sure that once gay marriage was legalized, which would have been, what year was it? We'll have to look it up.
2016?
I want to say so. I'm going to look it up.
All right.
15.
Okay, 15.
Yes. So that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
Because all these new flags started coming out right after gay marriage got legal.
Yep.
So they didn't need to have the solidarity anymore because the gay people got what they wanted,
Yeah, they achieved their combined mission, I guess.
Right. In the late 90s makes sense too, because in the 90s, the Supreme Court decided that employers couldn't discriminate against homosexuals and that renters couldn't be discriminated against for their gender identity and all sorts of things like that. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So every time there's an advancement, there's a splinter group that wants their cut of the pie, which is good, I guess, in its own way.
Yeah, I mean, that's as it should be. Like,
Right.
And we've talked about this before, is the government shouldn't be precluding people from doing things as long as you're not harming somebody else, right?
Right. Yeah, the government is not a moral actor, so they're not the arbiter of truth, and they're not the arbiter of moral correctness.
Yes.
So, yes. I am nearing the end of this cigar, shockingly near.
Me as well.
Yeah.
I figured you were because you took a couple flags in a row, and I was like, I'll catch up while he's talking.
I did take the couple flags in a row because I'm like, I'm going to be done too early.
That never happens.
Yeah, but never happens. Just ask my wife. Cha-ching. I have to say, looking at these, there's a lot of lazy design work in these flags. Like they really just took that one person, Harvey Milk and Gilbert Baker's design, and they really just kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
So
they certainly did. I still think the winner is that, what was it, the Landis or
Labris, yeah.
The Labris lesbian flag. That one was awesome.
No, that one is, like I say, that you could damn near have that at any event. You know what I mean? That could be your LARPing club flag. That could be like your guild in a game flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great flag. Like I say, I could see that being behind people's motorcycles and they're driving up and down the road like madmen.
Oh, yeah.
Or mad women. I see a lot of women riding motorcycles now, more than men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why I never noticed it before, or maybe it's a new trend. But
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I'd have to keep my eyes open when I'm out and about.
yeah, keep your eyes peeled, man. I see more women than men nowadays riding bikes. So that's more power to them, I suppose, whatever.
Yeah.
But
All right. Was there anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to do final thoughts on the stick?
yeah, we can do some final thoughts. It's good. It was very temperature sensitive though. I had to be really careful not to puff too fast because it got sour.
Yeah.
But it came back, you know what I mean? It would get a little sour and then I'd slow it down and it would start to taste really good. And it was
Yep.
sharp, but medium bodied,
Yeah.
And a small amount, for me at least, a small amount of transition. But
Yes. Yep. There was that kind of in the middle. I liked it. I don't know if it's as good as some of the other ones that we had in the Gurkha line.
I don't think I mean, I wouldn't purposefully buy it again, but it wasn't
Yeah.
bad either,
No, it wasn't bad. It's very fine. It was tasty. It just, I think it comes down to kind of like more of the flavor profiles that you and I enjoy.
Yeah. It's different than what we
Overall.
normally smoke. It was good though.
Yeah,
It
it was
wasn't
good. It was
bad.
good.
Yeah. If people are going for more of like a bitey, medium bodied cigar, I would suggest this for sure.
Yes.
So,
All right. Did you
all
have
right.
a favorite Gurkha that we smoked the past few episodes here? Or?
Oh, geez. Now I'd have to try to remember. I think the Centurion was the torpedo, wasn't it?
I believe so. Let's look. I'll pull up our list here, and then we can see what we smoked, so we can remember.
Yes.
So I know I'm trying to remember here what we did. So we had one where it was interesting. So okay, so we did so we did the Gurkha Crest, the Centurion, the Vintage 2001. We did the Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
So I remember we didn't like the Beauty, did we?
No, we did not care for the beauty. We did like the beast.
We liked the Beast. Yeah, it's tough to say. There's one that I like better.
Well, what the
I
heck
think
is
the
the one
Beauty
that we
was the
quit halfway
worst.
through? You think so? Because we quit one of them halfway through.
It might have been the Crest. I know
I
when we
think
were
so.
recording the Crest, we had a lot of like tech issues as well, which have since been resolved. It wasn't on our end. It was the platform that we're using to record. I guess one of the browsers made an update change that kind of tweaked how things worked. But we were struggling that episode, and then I think between that and how bad the cigar was, we were like, we're not even going to try the rest of it.
Yeah, because that stick is still in my ashtray, and I have 3.5 inches left of it.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound like you.
No. I usually smoke them all the way down for sure. So very
That might
rarely
be,
do we not finish them.
if you have more of those, that might be a good tequila cigar.
I don't
Test.
think I have any more. Thank God.
Okay, well then don't buy anymore. Don't buy them.
No. The Bin Maduro is way better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Titan was good. Better than
Yeah, it was
Submarine, apparently experimental submarines.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to talk about that briefly, or should we save that for another episode?
oh yeah. By the time that this
Not a whole lot
episode
to
goes
talk
out, it'll
about.
be in the past. Yeah, a bunch of billionaires died in an experimental craft.
Yeah, because he didn't
whose-
want to hire boring 50-year-old sub experts. He wanted to hire inspiring diversity hires and use carbon fiber, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, safety is not cost effective, right? That guy had a lot of crazy quotes. So
Yeah.
you get
I
what you
mean,
get,
just- Yep, you get what you get. It's interesting that the big news conglomerates are kind of slamming most of the rest of the people on the planet, saying, good riddance. Let's get some more orcas to take down some more luxury yachts. Let's send more billionaires to the bottom of the sea. Because by and large, the average person who's not in the ruling class, aka billionaire, doesn't much care for billionaires. And I don't think anybody should.
It's weird.
It's weird the false sense of self the billionaires have, like, oh, we're God's gift to humanity. Why is everybody cheering when 5 of us implode at the bottom of the sea? I wonder. I did see an interesting conspiracy theory where it was that the billionaires didn't actually implode at the bottom of the sea, but they're now on Epstein Island.
I saw that as well, but they called it Caligula's Island.
Oh, okay.
So For those people who don't know the Caligula story, look it up real quick for yourself. It's awesome. So, Roman Emperor Caligula, that is.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any other
Uh,
Caligulas out there, but
Who knows? He probably had a better flag than some of these communities, but
I'm guessing so. But yeah.
yeah. Well, anyway, don't get into any Pringle cans to go to the bottom of the ocean with your rich friends, and we'll catch you next week.
Be safe, have fun.